Another memory fragment. Alright. So... do I want to continue with Hannah possessed, or do I want to continue with her dead? It's a question that... if anybody's watching and in the chat, let me know if you want to see Hannah possessed or dead the rest of the route, because I have one save with her dead, and I have one save with her possessed. In other words, the save with her dead, Zach gets killed by some... okay, possessed. You want him. Okay. We'll continue with Hannah possessed here. The first time I played through this by myself, I ended up going through and... needless to say, didn't end up killing anybody. Hannah didn't even get possessed, so I managed to do a good job, good choices, but I'm just trying to see how much havoc I can wreak on these people. 7:15 p.m. Save this here. Numbers are so little on the top of my screen, and they glare at me with such intensity that I can hear their accusations. I'm late for a night out with the girls, yes, but I have a perfectly good excuse. Jeez. Okay, the people in the chat, have you guys played through this yet? Or not? Because if you haven't, then I won't skip through all the text I've already read. Let me know if you want me to skip through or not. I'll wait a few minutes. I'm just gonna check through the journal while I wait. You know what, I'm gonna skip this part of the chat just to begin with. Oh no, you haven't played it? Okay. Well, if you haven't... oh, you saw Moon Moon play it? Okay. Skip if you want. Okay. Yeah, I'll skip through some of this to the choices. Alright. The first time I went through, I avoided this because I didn't want any extra baggage between, Marianne and, Luke. But this is actually a pretty short route compared to Zach's route. Yeah, I'm not going with this is wrong. Nothing, never mind.
Nothing, never mind.
Let's do this. Oh, and I like how it went down. I didn't care about any of them, they were all or nothing. Less than nothing. We part for air, and he all but rips up my belt without even bothering to take off his own jacket. We somehow make it safely into my bed, and I don't even feel it as he pins me down. Oh god. Am I gonna have to change, turn off my Twitch stream here? Oh boy. Oh. Where I don't even feel it. Oh. Poor Luke. There's nothing gentle about the kiss between us. It's tongue, teeth, and roaming hands. There's no passion, only a need. Don't know about him, but I'm not doing this to feel good. I'm not some nymphomaniac who gets wet at the thought of bringing random strangers to my place for a lay. It's ridiculous how, under the professional facade I like to put up, I do these sort of things. Yeah, and then when you see him and realize he's your client. And if any of my clients can see the Marianne McCullough now all boozed up and having rough sex with some bloke from the bar, well, that's none of their fucking business, really. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, about that, well, you see, you're my client. But I don't know that. But still, everything after is a drunken blur. Not that there's much to remember in the first place. These one-night stands were always the same, empty, meaningless. Flesh coming to that, gather a smell of booze and sweat.
Mother of God, pray for us sinners.
She's praying. I'm too busy trying to remember her hands touching during... Oh, Lorraine. That's right. That's right. She's not hetero. I'm trying to remember her lips that kissed me. But how I can remember something that never happened? When all is said and done, all he has to say is... Okay, and, that's another bug. I'm gonna put that in bug reports. There we go.
You were saying something while we were at it. What were you mumbling?
It was a prayer.
Like, oh God, fuck me? I like it.
No, it was a real prayer. A prayer for forgiveness. Because as I lie down in my bed while he gets up to leave, I can feel my sins crawling on my back like spiders, filling me with their venom. I feel an itch that made me want to scratch my skin until it bleeds while my heart pounds in my ears. I can't even register what Whiskey says when he whispers his goodbye.
Thanks for the good time, Marianne.
Dots. The mornings after are always the loneliest. Although that I can simply brush off. I've already gone through several years of my life with only the fleeting company of others, and always nothing permanent. After her, there never was. I'll live through this. The regret, though, it's the one that stays in ways. But there is no time for self-pity. I have a job to get ready for. And you have a surprise. A surprise incoming. It isn't often that I think about drinking on the job. Let's check this out. Email from the Wrights came. That was from before. Call bar, mint, whiskey, yeah. Oh, and then that. Good times, but after meeting with the Wrights yesterday, it really makes me want to break my self-imposed rules. Because first off, fucking damn whiskey was... fucking damn Mr. Wright. And to top it all off, they have somehow forgotten to inform me that they didn't own the Ermengarde mansion yet when they hired me. What sort of person does that? Who is that madman?
Ugh, rich people.
Yep, rich people. I could do nothing but twiddle my thumbs at this, however. Twiddle my thumbs and wait for the go signal. It's not like I can accept other smaller projects. This is a big job and I should be ready to start on it at any time. Not to mention that my PA practically begged me to be patient and wait this out. It was a hard decision to agree, but I did so in the end. Besides, I'm doing this for the Ermengarde mansion, not for anything or anyone else. Alright, where are we? We are here. I'm gonna try skipping to this question. Wow. Alright, in the library, meeting up with Becca, fighting over that book. That architecture. Meeting with Isabella. What day is this? This is the 22nd, so she's still alive. We didn't kill off Isabella yet. Although that's coming. That would be unprofessional.
I presume that Miss Cooper told you why I'm here, Miss Santos?
Huh? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I just got back from lunch, you know? But it won't take too long. Don't worry.
Of course it won't. This whole project has established itself to be a matter done in haste. I do hope it doesn't mean that people are being careless in their duties.
She flinches and looks like she doesn't quite know how to respond to that. Thankfully, instead of opening her mouth, she leads the way towards her station and goes to fetch the floor plans. It won't take too long, as she said, but it does take a bit. Time spent to compose herself, most likely.
You know, we usually just email these things.
I prefer the real thing.
Not that you would know. You probably have your nose stuck in front of a smartphone when you're not working, and even when you should be working, playing those mindless, addictive games. I definitely wish Chris would stop playing that Batcat thingy during work hours, too.
I know what you mean. Digital painting is nice, but nothing beats the smell of real paint.
Digital painting? Freaking Microsoft Paint.
Not that I go and smell paint like a crazy person, but, you know, the real thing is different.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what? Yeah, we're skipping. We got something to say. Do we go on and listen to Isabella here, or do we... You know what? I'm actually gonna save here, and I'm gonna do the, I don't have time for this thing. I'm gonna go back.
I don't have time for this. Just spit it out.
And that kind of hurts the friendship.
Well, you see...
Coffee, that's...
Is that all? May I...
Sure, I'll leave you alone. And if you need me, I'll be just look for me somewhere. It's not like that's going to be hard.
What a bitch.
Oh boy.
What did you say?
I didn't say anything.
That's funny. Alright. Yeah, that takes it to Monday. I'm gonna load this. I'm gonna go back. We have something to say.
Yes?
I forget what happens through here. Too young and unsure of herself, enthusiasm must make up for that in spades. Wouldn't have believed it if she had introduced herself as one and if Miss Cooper hadn't vouched for her. Why, she looks like she could still be in college. Acts a bit like it too. Although, I thought she was a teen slumming it out in the mansion when I first saw her there, lying on the ground. Surprise, surprise, she turned out to be one of the real estate agents handling the property. I don't even know what to make of that whole meltdown that happened with the strange document. Isabella kinda did seem a bit nuts when you first met her. If I were the client, I would have been very upset. She'd be in hot wire for it. And if I were a bitter person, I would have snapped at her. You didn't become some famous artist to be feted by the art world like you thought you would be. Big whoop. The sooner she figures out that out, the better. Skip, skip, skip. And yeah, that was pointless of her. Although it earned me some points with her when I couldn't come any sooner. After taking the floor plans from the Santos the day before last, I spent most of my Sunday drawing up plans and calling my suppliers. Check out the tree. Alright, where are we gonna go? We went up last time. Do we go down this time? Oh, I should be, A and B. Okay. There's ending 1, ending 2. Variant A, ending 1, ending 2. B. A and B seem to be dependent on whether you investigate the ground floor or the first floor when asked. Which did I investigate, though? I forget. Story update question, go in, stay. Common route. I forget what I said. Did I say ground floor or... Oh well. And I think because Isabella got killed off, we might be forced down a certain path. Check it out. Whatever. Skip through this. Yeah, this game has so much branching. It's insane. Alright. So here she goes to visit the apartment of Luke and Hannah, and she hears a crash. I think if we go to the branching tree, I checked it out there. And this is just like nothing. Maybe I can get this bottom route here. The last time I checked it out, it was the spooks. The spooky spooks that almost got me. This time it might be the possessed Hannah.
Excuse me, but where's the loo?
It's definitely the possessed Hannah. It's good use as any. Good excuse as any. And if I'm caught lingering longer than I should, I could just excuse myself and say that I wasn't sure which door led to where. Still looking into the hallway reveals nothing. I don't see anything that might cause the crash. The hallway, like the rest of the place, is in pristine condition. There are several doors for not only the toilet, but also, presumably, rooms for their butler and for other members of the staff. As I stand there, however, something feels definitely out of place. Yeah, the fact that a projector is on the ground and buzzing out, but yeah, don't mind that, you know. It's usual for that to happen. Alright. One of the doors, the nearest within my reach, stands ajar, and from inside a light flickers incessantly. Could simply be a light bulb that needs replacing, but the thought of it in a place so well taken care of seems off. I think that maybe this is where the crash came from. You don't say. Inside, I can spy a radio lying on the floor. That's probably it, right? Maybe one of the help in a hurry to get out of the room knocked it over in the process. Although, here's the thing. What's today's date? Today is the 23rd or the 24th. she shouldn't be possessed now.
At 7 in the morning, students found a 5th year dead.
Alright, some explaining here about the whole possessed thing. Basically, going through the branching tree, it goes chapter by chapter, and depending on the endings you take, it affects the whole other story. So, the first time I went through, I managed to keep everybody alive. So, I got the good ending for every chapter and kept everybody alive. Now, I didn't unlock the true ending. The true ending, you have to get through, I think, all the bad endings, but I managed to get through all the good endings, which is why it shows the white paths here. But if you look here, the things that are grayed out means I haven't gotten through it yet. So, with Hannah, this was on Hannah's chapter. Basically, it's not in chronological order. This game is not in chronological order. You go through one of the characters, and the game starts out at like the 17th or 18th of October. You go through one of the characters' past. It might take you to October 26th, October 25th, and then it picks up from the perspective of a different character, starting in a slightly different place, maybe October 20th to 21st. So you play through, and each chapter you get to experience it from the perspectives of the different characters, but each time you start out at a slightly different place of the story. So, for Hannah, I got the good ending, which was, I think, ending 3 the first time. And that resulted in her not dying. She didn't die, and she didn't get possessed. I haven't gotten the true ending, so I don't know what's up with that. Ending 3 was the good, or rather the good for Hannah. And it went through, and then I went back and I got her ending where she gets killed by Luke, and then I got the ending where she's possessed. So I was contemplating playing out the story with her dead, but in the end I decided to play out the story with her possessed. And now here we are. But she doesn't get possessed until the 27th or the 28th. Maybe it's the 29th. It's either the 28th or the 29th that she gets possessed. And at this scene,
Assumed to have fallen.
there is...
Authority reporting.
You see the spooky ghost thing right there. Pops out. So it's not Hannah yet. Let's see which branch I got. Yeah, I got the bottom branch, and that's because I think it's because of what I chose with the night with Luke. Yeah, I got all of Hannah's endings in her chapter. I'm not sure if I got that part yet, because that might be in a different chapter. I don't know. And that smug smile on his face makes me want to come in contact with him, if only to break his nose with my fist.
Is that any way to say hello to a good friend?
We aren't friends. Let's get that straight first off, Mr. Wright.
You mean whiskey?
Secondly, you're a married man. So that thing that happened shouldn't have happened.
Oh, come on. Don't tell me it wasn't even a little fun. A bit of a romp never hurt anybody.
No, it wasn't fun, and we shouldn't have done it. But since we did, let's pretend it didn't happen and never speak of it again.
I was drunk and had no self-control. Don't I get a free pass?
Imagine how the world would work if it was like that. I really can't believe this guy. I have work to do, sir, or that's no excuse, whatever. Yeah, it takes it more down the shitter. Restraint and patience are necessary things when dealing with people, and I must have a whole lot of it, considering I'm not tearing him a new hole. I can't believe this guy. I don't see any inkling of shame or guilt about the fact that he cheated on his wife.
What? No, you don't get a free pass. How can you even say that with such a straight face? You do realize what you've done, don't you? Even if you were drunk, the fact of the matter is, you had at one point taken off your wedding ring and knowingly cheated on your missus. I am quite sure you didn't have one, and you blatantly told me you were single when you chatted me up at the bar.
And you're the saint then? But according to you, I was drunk. So you must have taken advantage of me in my state. I fail to see why I'm the only one to blame in this situation.
I didn't think things could get any more preposterous, but apparently I was wrong.
We were both drunk, you bastard. Don't you dare try to twist this around. You don't know who you're messing with.
I'm afraid you're the one who doesn't know who you're messing with, lassie. I know who you are, Marianne McCullough. I've looked into you, you bloody bog jumper. You're nothing but a glorified turf cutter.
This is why I love Luke.
I'd be careful with how I speak if I were you. What's that saying about biting the hand that pays you? It goes something like that.
He looked into me? How much does he know about me then? Does he know about my father? Does he know about her? The thought that he has knowledge he can hang over my head kills any fight I have. Instead, I feel sick. This is sick. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's sick in the head one way or other. Well, yeah, he is, but they're between us because it can't be anything else but that is broken as a lively voice calls out from the loft.
Marianne! I hope I haven't kept you waiting too long.
Oh, no, you haven't. In fact, sorry about that.
I know we agreed we'd start at 10 o'clock, but mornings just simply do not agree with me. Not one bit. It's been like this since I've been in university.
It's 5 minutes to 11 o'clock. These high-end clients sure like to be fashionably late. I'm used to it, though, much like how I'm used to so many years of hearing people mispronounce my name. Besides, berating or correcting my client would be extremely impolite, and Marianne doesn't sound too bad when she says it. To be fair, it doesn't seem like she's late on purpose.
I see you're up, darling.
Alright, we're gonna skip through all this because we've already seen this. And I think they break up into an argument. Oh, it sounds fair and we can compromise. This is about, what they want for terms of decorations. Oh. Oh. Check it out versus don't check out. I would have unlocked a whole new, thing down there. I think, just for the sake of completing most of the route I can, I'm going to go back, load that, and skip this, because I didn't save that point. I might have a lot to skip here. I'll continue waiting, because I didn't. And now I'm on this path that I didn't take yet. No business with it, so you're not going to see Mrs. Spooks over there. Like a lamp falling over. Yeah, well, we'll say it's a lamp. I'm just going to sit here and wait for Mrs. Wright with my tea in complete silence.
Could I at least put the telly on?
I don't really expect him to answer. If he hadn't heard the crash, I doubt he would have heard me.
As long as you don't watch some silly soap opera, the LBC News would be fine. The William Walker show is on too, if you prefer that. The remote is under the coffee table.
Oh, sure. Maybe I'll be lucky and catch the doc on. I heard they're having reruns of the classics, and I want to see the second meet sixth in Spain. If not, thank you. I'll let you get on with your cooking now.
Did he just ignore the crash a while ago then? Whatever. Fetching the remote, I turn the TV on in hopes of filling the silence. Trying to anyway, because the thing won't turn on. And doesn't that make the silence more awkward or what? I know I might not be the best with tech, but I'm sure I can work a simple television remote.
The batteries must be dead.
Oh boy. Help me. I didn't know it was gonna be like this. There is blood everywhere. Help me, it says in red. I look at my own hands and find them clean, yet I can see the grisly reflection gaping back at me. And though there is nothing staining my skin, I can feel the sticky and warm feeling of blood dripping down my cheeks. I should be worried. Instead, I feel my attention drawn towards her. Her beautiful blonde hair. Her soft lips with skin so fair and swaying hips. Lorraine. I want nothing more than to hold her, plant my lips on her neck, and to be able to run my fingers through her hair. She laughs and she smiles when she looks at me, but where are her eyes? Temptation is gone in an instant, and I recoil, horrified at the reflection I'm seeing, only to back into something, or rather someone. Mrs. Wright stands there, twirling a lock of blonde hair, a small smile on her lips and a hand on her hip. I almost back away, but I ground and remind myself that this is my client. And whatever I just saw, well, it wouldn't be too far-fetched to say that perhaps I'm going a bit daft. this chapter... Oh, okay. This is the Marianne chapter. And this is the, basically what I did is I went through the game already. I played through it once, kept everybody alive. Then I went through Chapter 1, killed off Isabella. Chapter 2, possessed Hannah. Chapter 3, killed off Zach with the possessed Hannah. And Chapter 4, this is before Hannah got possessed, of course, but, you know, yeah.
Good morning, Mrs. Wright. I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Have you been standing there long?
No, I just came down and saw you were having a hard time with the telly. Are you alright, dear? You're looking a bit pale. Haven't you had breakfast yet?
No, I'm fine. I had breakfast already, Mrs. Wright. I just need...
Well then, you mustn't have had enough breakfast. I'm all for a good diet, but that's the most important meal of the day.
Actually, it's the first meal that's the most important meal of the day, but whatever.
Johans is cooking up pancakes. Pancakes will make anyone feel better, he always says. We can sit down and tuck in. You'll feel right as rain once we get some fluffy... And are you sure you're fine, Marianne? You're shaking.
1 second. Alright. Looking down at my hands, I can see them trembling. Really? Just because she looks so much like her, I'm becoming a damn train wreck. I've been seeing her in my dreams and hearing her voice ever since I met Mrs. Wright at the mansion. With so many blondes in the world, what was different with her? What was different this time? And yeah, I'm gonna save here. Oh boy, what do I do?
I just remembered something, that's all. It's nothing to worry about.
Does that hurt me with Hannah? Let's see. How am I with Hannah before? Oh. That hurts me even more. See the branching tree here? Yeah, I'm not gonna want to hurt Hannah. Probably not.
I just remembered something, that's all.
Are you sure? I don't mind a good story, and I don't want it to affect your work performance.
Gossipy wagon, isn't she? She should just leave you alone. It's not like you need her.
Oh. Okay. We're actually hearing her voice more this time. This didn't happen before.
You don't have to worry about that, Mrs. Wright. I say business stays business, and anything else can stay in the doghouse until I'm done with work.
I just have to bear through it, don't I? If I tell her that I'm hearing voices, that'd be a fast track straight to the nut house. What else can I do? Saint Difna, help me lest I become like her father Damon, insane at the thought of a last love and mad pursuit in the
Shall we talk about your work?
If you'd like. It's on your time, after all.
I've been told many good things about you, and I've seen some of your work before. Others speak very highly of your work etiquette, yet I've never heard of you before. Not even a whisper of the McCullough name.
Well, I've only been in Luxbourne for 4 years. Tried to make it big in London for nearly 3 years before, and I've only been working these high-quality projects for the past year.
I stick straight to the point. It's best to be brief when talking to clients. After all, keep it clean-cut as much as possible. Can we get some different music, please? Yet at the same time, I have to make it engaging so it doesn't look like I don't want to talk to them.
I imagine it hasn't been easy. I can't see why you've moved from London to Luxbourne, though.
Job vacancies were fewer at the time, and I had a lot of competition in London. Let's not even talk about the living costs there.
Game does a great job at making tension.
But I'm glad I moved here, even if it hadn't been smooth sailing. If I had it easy, I probably wouldn't be working projects like these.
Why even bother explaining to her? She won't understand. She's practically born with a silver spoon in her mouth.
And now you're hearing Lorraine. Oh yes.
The woman could probably snap her fingers and have servants attending to her beck and call.
She does look the part of a spoiled heiress, doesn't she? It would be a relief if she's just that. Something that's different from Mrs. Wright and her. Before she can get another word in, words that may have proven me wrong or right, she looks up at the loft with a fond expression on her face. With just a simple glance, she can put in so much love that I feel a tad bit jealous of whatever or whoever.
Good morning, Luke, darling.
Good morning, ladies. What a wonderful morning it is that I wake up to such a beautiful sight.
Better music now.
I do hope you two are getting along.
I want to smack that smile off his face. Let's take a look at the tree, shall we? Alright. And we're going under here. Would do it in a heartbeat, even only if only he isn't my client. But I can just see the headlines now. Interior designer sucker punches rich arsehole. Sometimes I wish I'll stop thinking whether something is worth the trouble or not and just do.
What is with that look, Marianne? You look like you've smelled something foul.
What? Don't you like the smell of pancakes? I think they're just wonderful. Like prayers answered by the breakfast gods.
Emphasis on prayer.
I usually prefer tarts, but pancakes are just as good.
It's nothing. Never mind.
Come on then, we can discuss business over food.
There's no denying the clients when they invite me over to the table. Though it is too personal to share a meal in their home, it would be terribly rude to deny their invitation. Besides, the pancakes did look and smell heavenly. A bowl of clotted cream, fruits, syrups, jams, and other spreads are laid out next to them, making for a colorful arrangement. If this was a brunch with friends, I would have gladly helped myself to the whole lot. But as it is, I accepted just a few pieces of pancake and topped it off with lemon and sugar.
You know, I was a tiny bit serious when I said I wanted a helipad.
And you're not serious about the greenhouse, the vineyard, and the stables.
Well, I do want those too, but I know you'll agree to those.
Yeah, we'll skip through this, and I think they have a fight here that we have to, yeah, here we are. We can compromise here. Last time we compromised, I'm just gonna save here. Save over that, and then I'll choose that's fair. Piss off somebody. Pissed off Luke. Just solely for the purpose of 100%ing this game, even though I rather would have the other thing on my save. So, we can compromise. Skip. Going to the mansion. Meeting with the mansion. Check the ground floor, check the first floor. Oh no, which did I do last time? Okay, this is where I can either get endings A or endings B. Did I check the ground floor or the first floor? I'm pretty sure I checked the ground floor. We are right here. Check the ground floor. Okay, I'm checking the first floor. And I'm gonna save again. Oh, did I really do that? I meant to check the first floor. Ugh, check the first floor. I've already seen enough of this floor during the open house. Of course, I know that it's just a convenient excuse. I just don't want to be in the same room as Whiskey anytime soon. So I might as well just go upstairs first. The banisters on the grand staircase's landing are solid and at proper height. Any lower and they would be trouble. There's a small catch on the carpet though, but as long as nobody tries to run down the stairs until it gets fixed, things should be alright. And the stained glass art. Restored, no doubt, in the image of the last lady and Lord of Ermengarde. Or was it supposed to be, until Charlotte's fiancé was brutally murdered. By a witch. A witch of all things. From what I've read, you'd think that the historians of the place will be a lot more scrutinizing, filtering out stuff like that. I'm amazed they bothered with it instead of replacing it with some generic cookie-cutter design. This entire place alone would have cost roughly 500, even £1 million. Alright, let's go next through here. So, go through here. I'm gonna skip. Oh, I can't skip. Lady Charlotte Ermengarde, our beloved. Looking at the mosaic, it's not too far stretched of the imagination to believe that depicted images could be Mr. and Mrs. Wright. can be easily assumed as such if one doesn't know the history of the mansion. Really, a place like this should be protected by the government as a landmark. But what can I do about it? Walking into the East Wing, I tried to go into the theater, but is met with an obstacle. The obstacle is that of locked doors. 2 doors, and both of them are locked. I'd be frustrated, would be, if I already hadn't snuck off while the Wrights were having their little business meeting with Miss Cooper before to take a peek. With what Mr. Wright wanted, we'd have to install a powerful projector, the type they use in cinemas, in the projection screen. The seats would have to be reupholstered, if they're to be any comfortable, and the walls would have to be covered in a dark material, paint wallpaper, or install wall-to-wall carpeting. Really, of all the rooms I could be jealous of, it's this one. I could just picture myself in there watching old kung fu flicks on a weekend-long marathon. Makes me wonder what kind of movies Mrs. Wright would like. Rom-coms, perhaps? Her husband, on the other hand, I'd rather not think about it. In the middle of my notation and planning, I don't even realize that I'm not alone, until I'm caught standing in front of a locked door like a fool.
Were you meaning to go in there? I'm afraid we won't be able to open it up today.
Oh well, I wanted to, but it's fine. I can still survey the rest of the place.
Too bad.
Apologies, but a key was missing when they were handed over. They told us that they'd get right back to us with it.
What? But aren't they supposed to hand over all the keys once property changes hands? That can be grounds to file a complaint.
Screw you and your complaints.
They were already kind enough to let us move in so early. There's no need to raise a fuss about it. Worst comes to worst, we can call for a locksmith.
There is heavy and somber when she hears crying and glances out the window, out towards the vast expanse that surrounded what would be their house, their home. Then she looks back at me with a sigh and a bitter smile.
Flowers. Yellow flowers. Daffodils, dandelions, and sunflowers and the sort all up front. Just a whole garden of them. They'll make the house look lovely, won't they?
Of course. A garden is a wonderful addition to any home.
As I say this, her eyes roam over me, scrutinizing and thoughtful. I have to hold a shiver that threatens to run down my spine at being inspected so close.
Yes. It must be nice.
We're still talking about the gardens, yes?
I mean not having to worry about what another person thinks of you.
What do you mean by that?
Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I didn't marry Luke. There'll be no fights about walk-in closets or silly helipads. I could do with this place as my heart desires until there's nothing but content. Then again, I wouldn't have bought this place if it wasn't a gift for him. I probably wouldn't even be in Luxbourne if it wasn't for... Maybe I would have moved to London, Manchester, or Birmingham. I might have even left the country altogether. France, Germany, Spain, Canada, Sweden, even America. The possibilities would have been endless.
I don't know what to say to that. What is there to say?
I'm sorry, I must sound so petty and ungrateful. I do love him. So very much, even if he can be a bit difficult at times.
Oh no, not at all. I'm just confused why you're telling me this, of all people.
Just a whim, I think. Just flights of fancy, that's all. Don't you ever think about one decision you've made in your life and wonder how much would change if you chose to do things differently?
I try not to dwell on the past, ma'am.
The key word is try, of course. Thinking of all the past brings up too many ghosts. Memories of her. And I do wonder what would change if I just said yes when she asked for me. Maybe she'd still be with me. I return to the present, just like I said. I try not to dwell on the past. Check the tree, and this shouldn't matter too much. Even so...
You must have been quite the pair, Mrs. Wright.
Oh, that...
Hannah Evans and Luke Wright taking...
Is that good? I don't know, was it? Oh no, yeah, that was the better idea. That was the better idea. Load.
You must have been Hannah Evans and Luke Wright taking Luxbourne by storm.
Yeah. And can I be blamed if I like the way her eyes crinkled or how she sounded when she
Quite the
laughed?
celebrity couple, according to all the newspapers.
Journal. Thought I did that already.
But it wasn't always that way. Father certainly didn't approve of him at first. Why, he told me to stay away from him. Told me that I was too good for him.
He was right.
That's the usual overprotective dad speak, though. But of course, you know that.
I don't. I was too busy keeping my grades up at boarding school to maintain my scholarship. Never mind the fact that I went to an all-girls boarding school, so father never had any reason to fuss over boys trying to date his little girl.
And what did you tell him? Considering you are Mrs. Wright now, you or the mister must have convinced him otherwise.
Yes, well, I told him I was my own woman and I could decide who was deserving of me or not on my own. Thank you very much. That never stopped him from making sure Luke couldn't get anywhere near me without an escort and a guard, though he certainly wasn't that overprotective when I was dating Jack.
Maybe your father considered this Jack a more capable man?
I doubt it. Jacqueline was nowhere close to being any sort of a role model when we were in college. She was rebellious, reckless, and immature. Everything I wasn't, but she was quite the charming, stunning woman, and I think that made her quite likable.
That takes me by surprise a lot more than by the fact that Mr. Wright's father-in-law didn't like him. That was much to be expected. This soundtrack really puts you in the right mood, the right mindset for all of the scenes. But this, I have nothing against them because that's their thing, though the nuns and priests would say otherwise. Although wasn't she worried about the implications, the rumors that would have arisen about her dating another of the same sex? Especially with someone of her social status.
You look surprised, Marianne. The first thing anybody needs to know about me is that I go after what I want. And when it comes to who I love, it doesn't matter to me whether they're a man or a woman.
It's a nice enough sentiment. Still, the thought that this lovely lady before me had once been with another woman, I can feel my cheeks heat up and I panic, thinking they might be red enough for Mrs. Wright to notice. I can't tell, though a coy smile graces her lips.
Legs, we called her, because of how often she was running about because of one thing or another. Climbing up walls and, what do they call it now? Parkour. And also because of her, well, legs.
And you went after her?
Not right away. When I first met her, I wanted nothing to do with her. She was so improper and uncouth. But I slowly realized that didn't mean she was a bad person. On the contrary, she did many a good thing and was always so nice to others. I found myself confused. I couldn't figure out if I wanted to be her or wanted to be with her. So I approached her, told her that I might have fancied her.
And your father didn't mind?
He must have thought it was my form of rebellion. But he never watched out for Jack as much as he watched out for Luke. If I didn't love my father so much, if he hadn't raised me right, I think I might have told him to bugger off. He's never been more attentive of me than when I started bringing home dates.
I'm sure he loved you very much.
She laughs once more, a glow about her. I know, she says with a small smile.
I suppose I've taken too much of your time with my silly stories. You still have much to inspect?
I still have most of this floor, and I'll want a quick run-through of the ground floor again later.
I shan't keep you from your work any longer then. Just call me if you need anything. I'd like to look around myself.
When she turns to leave, she glances back at me before disappearing into the foyer. I look out the window from where she was standing, and I move on, alone with nothing but my thoughts and her.
Finally, some peace and quiet. Thought the old biddy would never leave.
You're hearing voices again, Marianne. It's utter madness, this hearing things. I reckon it's the stress, though I don't know exactly what I'm stressed about. If meeting Mrs. Wright has really thrown me through a loop, I'd be worried. I'm developing some sort of psychosis or disorder, well, I'd call a doctor. But hopefully it isn't that, not right here and not right now. I mean, it just could be that personal talking cricket, the conscious, so to speak, and I'm only noticing now, though if it is, it isn't very helpful. Pushing the dilemma of voices in my head aside, I go back to work. But I can barely make it a few steps before everything tilts and shifts, and it goes bloody. I don't really stumble, but it feels like I'm being thrown off my feet and the rest of the world just follows. But my feet stay firmly on the ground, and even if I stay mostly upright, I feel like I've been heaved and put off balance. There we go. I have to close my eyes in the hopes of willing the sudden sense of vertigo away, but when I open them, what's gonna await us? What is it? What is it? Yes, it's bloody, of course. Well, I don't feel any less sick because of the sight that greets me. Blood dripped from the walls and the ceilings, pulling downwards and seeping into the curtain and the carpets. A wave of nausea, stronger than the last, hits me along with the overpowering stench of blood and gore. I want to pull. The rational part of my head is telling me to flee, and I would have gladly done as it asked if only I didn't hear her.
In here, Marianne. Come on. I have something to show you.
I could have ignored it, would have ignored it if only I'd heard it in my head. But I swear that this one time, except that this time it's coming from one of the rooms, much further into the study. I feel compelled to pay attention. I can't just turn around and leave. Let's see, how far are we from the end? Okay, we're pretty far from her end. Not when it's her. I don't even think as I follow the sound of her voice. Let's meet Lorraine. Lorraine. Lovely Amanda Lorraine Lasarfiana. She was my friend, the only one that I had at St. Samthan's. I was a scholar, the charity case, in a school for privileged and prestigious young girls. They all looked down at me, if they cared to look at me or acknowledge my presence at all. All except her.
Oh, stop your crying. You know better than to listen to Maeve. Why I gotta teach that butterface a lesson?
Wait, no, lass! I don't want you getting into trouble with the sisters again!
Relax. It's not like I'm going to stomp her and her lackey's arses flat like last time.
Come on, let's just go back to our dorm room. I don't want to be on my Tobler while you go get yourself punished.
You'll be fine. Gip's there with you.
Lorraine was there when I needed her, through my highs and lows. Having her as a friend made being in a strange school away from my father all the more tolerable. She saw this poor, helpless girl who was kept down and shunned by everyone else. And being the kind soul that she was, she rescued me. So brave, so beautiful. She was something else.
I'll eat all the chocolates stashed away in your closet if you go.
I can get more. Just don't go complaining to me if you get a tummy ache because of that.
Well, you don't want to get detention on a weekend, do you? It's a Friday. We can go to town and have some karaoke. And we can have a go at druids and demons again. You're not going to miss that just because of Maeve, are you?
Sometimes I question what I did to deserve a friend like her. In the darkest corners of my mind, where traitorous thoughts lurked, I thought that she only felt sorry for me. Maybe she was just being a good Samaritan, offering a helping hand. And perhaps I had been too selfish to return the favor.
You have a point. I'll just kick her arse on Monday then.
That's not what I mean!
I know what you mean, Em.
Wait, where are you going? You just told me you wouldn't cause trouble.
I still have something to do. Don't worry. It's not like I'm going to burn down her dorm room or something criminal like that. I'm just going to talk to her. Maybe I'll make it so that her room smells like a dog's air biscuit. That'll make it an excellent weekend. I'll see you in a bit, Marianne. Lots of tubblers!
Because when she told me that she loved me, I couldn't admit that I felt the same way. Not to her, and not even to myself. It was wrong. I was taught that way. Husband and wife, one man and woman. Unclean, impure. I prayed for her and I, for our sins and for salvation. I wanted to apologize for disregarding her feelings so callously. It must have been like a slap to the face for her. But life had gotten in the way. Exams, which were trivial in hindsight now, took top priority. I had to keep my grades up to keep my scholarship for my father. I told myself I would apologize to her when those were over, that I needed to focus first and not let anything distract me. It had been easy when she avoided me like the plague. She was upset, I get that. But not now when you hear the dripping of blood. I thought I had the time to make things right, but...
At 7 in the morning, students found a 5th year dead. Assumed to have fallen from her dormitory window.
They told us that it was an accident. That was the official statement. But I knew better. She was dead because of me.
Maeve had a hook and I kicked the bucket, didn't she?
Oh boy.
Ding dong, the witch is dead!
She had, though. She didn't say which Lorraine.
But at least Maeve had the courage to admit how she felt about me.
I don't even know how long I've been stuck in here and in trance. In the mirror, Lorraine smiles at me. She's as beautiful as I remember her. And I feel bile rise up in my throat as her clean image warps into how she looked when they found her dead lying on the cold hard ground. Good Saint Dimphna, great wonder worker in every affliction of mind and body, help me. I'm seeing things, hearing things. Am I going completely insane? Looking everywhere but at her, I hope and pray that it's enough to will whatever this is to go away. It doesn't even immediately register in my head that I can just...
You, on the other hand, can't even look me in the eye.
This isn't real. You're not. You're dead.
I'm dead. Because of you. And you won't even look at me. Look at me.
My breathing quickens and I can feel my heart being torn apart by her words.
I'm so sorry, Lorraine.
Look at me!
I can't take it because she's right, it was my fault. The least I can do is look at what I've done. Lorraine, broken and bleeding, looks at me with such hate-filled eyes. An unnatural smile stretches across her face and I can only see malice in it. Then she lunges at the mirror, ripples around her form, the glass parting like the water's surface for her. She grips my shoulders and I can feel her nails dig deep, sharp, even though the fabric of my clothes...
There you are.
Oh, hey? Oh.
You're coming with me.
Well, I did that wrong. Some of these are confusing.
Why don't you love me?
Okay. Apologies spill through my lips as tears cloud my vision. But I won't give in to this madness. With every bit of strength I have, I struggle to get away from her. Fear grips and startles to choke me. I endure. I escape. Without turning back, I stumble back out. In my panic, I don't even care to look where I'm going. With one hand on the wall to steady me, I just hobble as fast as I can away from the study. Away from that mirror. Freedom is bittersweet. I'm free from the madness it seems, as running out into the hallway reveals it to be in pristine condition. But it means I turn my back on Lorraine, again. I have no plans of stopping, not until I know I'm safe. And if that means walking back to Luxborn, as ridiculous as the idea is, then so be it. Someone suddenly grabs a hold of me, however. Fingers digging deep into my shoulder, my heart nearly stops. My body seizes and I nearly scream.
Marianne! You look awful! I mean, not awful, but...
Yeah, we know. Checking the branching tree one more time. We are back onto the common route path.
Did something happen? Are you alright?
Oh yeah, I didn't just see my ex-lover, in the mirror. Don't mind me.
Mrs. Wright,
Oh boy. Without thinking, I sought comfort, seeing that it wasn't her. It's a sudden impulsive thing to do, and I had been in better condition, I wouldn't even dare of doing such a thing. But I didn't know what else to do. Though I know I shouldn't, her warmth or scent, they grounded me. She's
Marianne, what's going on? Oh, you're shaking like a leaf.
Tremors run through my body as my mind realized I am no longer in danger. I wanted to cry, scream about what I have seen, but like a scared child, I couldn't control myself. My mind couldn't reconcile with what I had seen. I should just write it off as a figment of my imagination, yet I can still feel her nails cutting into my skin.
Are you sick? Should I call for a doctor?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Wright. Just feeling a little woozy and lightheaded is all.
Let's get you somewhere to sit down then. Come on, don't worry, I have you.
Get your head about yourself, she's not Lorraine. A lie, but a whole lot less complicated than telling her I was attacked by a dead girl. When the feeling of fear eases off, I feel nothing but shame for my actions. I quickly back away as I clear my throat and nod my thanks.
I think I've had enough looking around. If it's all right with you and Mr. Wright, I'll meet you outside.
If you're sure, I'll have the car started. Do you need assistance heading downstairs?
I'm all right, ma'am. Just go on ahead and I'll be right there.
It seems to placate her worries, though only for a brief second. Before she heads down, I don't miss the concerned glance she shoots my way, hidden quickly under another smile. I won't begrudge her for it, that worry. The look on my face must have been strange enough sight on its own. Even I am still reeling from whatever that was. Her voice still whispers in my ears. After all these years, she's still... No, Marianne. Shaking my head of the thoughts, I drag in a breath, then follow short after Mr. Wright. Whatever has happened in the past, it's long gone, only memories now. And those are things I can no longer bring back. It's already dark as we make our way out of the mansion. With no lights, we are only illuminated by the headlamps of the Wright's car and the stars above us. The sight of them helps me compose myself much more than several minutes of being alone did. The car's engine is running, yet the two of them still stand out on the lawn. Mrs. Wright is busy, eyes up to the stars, and Mr. Wright, arms crossed, has his eyes down on the ground. It is the crunch of the grass under my heels that brings their attention to me.
About time. What took you so long? A minute longer and I'd think the house swallowed you all up.
Well, it almost did.
Oh, hush, dear. I'm sure she has her reasons. Marianne doesn't seem the sort to idle.
Sorry, I was just checking on something important.
Alright. Or rather, who I thought I saw there because there was just no way. Not to mention how I acted towards Mrs. Wright, for goodness sake. I should feel the slightest bit hesitant. I was lucky. I've seen enough films to know what happens when a promiscuous woman enters a haunted house, and yeah, I'm skipping through this part. Because I've already seen it. She goes back to her apartment. It's October 26th, Wednesday. She sees Lorraine and Mrs. Wright together, saying creepy things. New journal. Self goes from her past reflected in the mirror. If I see Lorraine's image in the mirror now, I wouldn't know what I'd do. I don't have the luxury of privacy right now, and I am not going back to break down in front of all these people. As soon as they go into the kitchen, I realize I'm holding my breath. I let a sigh of relief when nobody's looking, and I go back to the task at hand. It'll be a terribly busy day, and there's no need for me to even think of anyone else. I talk with the foreman, fill him in which room is which. It seems I'm doomed to not get any significant work done without being interrupted when it comes to these particular clients, however.
Marianne, dear, have you had breakfast yet? Well, I do believe it would be considered...
Oh, yes, Mrs. Wright.
You must join me. Johans has already been breaking in the kitchen, as they say. I do not see the others settling down for a meal anytime soon. Someone might as well enjoy the food while it's hot.
Alright, we're taking the top path, apparently. This might be because we killed off Isabella before. Might be because Zach is dead too. I don't know. I don't remember what happens down here.
And that someone might as well be us.
I should say no, I really must say no, but the way she smiles at me makes it difficult to do so. Look at how ridiculous I'm being. Acting like a silly nervous schoolgirl with a crush. It's just brunch, and who am I to say no to a client? It would be impolite to do so. It's not like I'm going to agree because of anything other than propriety. I'm not agreeing just because she batted her pretty eyelashes at me.
If you insist.
It really isn't any of those, but it's something about her eyes, rather. She looks like she needs a good talk, a friend, and although I'm not supposed to be chummy with my client, there's no harm in pretending, right? Of course, I've been wrong on so many occasions before, maybe there's plenty harm in pretending that I care. Because pretending I care might lead to actually caring. Being alone in the same room as the missus leaves me reeling as I find myself paying too much attention to her. It seems so borderline unhealthy. How much I'm getting obsessed, even if it's just by looking. And it's the little insignificant things that I notice, like the way she plays with her hair, or how she smooths down her dress.
Up, higher, come on now!
Whiskey's annoying voice in the other room helps pull me back to the ground. I'm just looking, aren't I? I know that someone like her wouldn't even look at someone like me. Still, there's some time to turn around this bad
I'd
decision.
really like to thank you for inviting me to breakfast, Mrs. Wright, but I already ate, so I should really go back to work.
And she won't.
Nonsense! You arrived so early. You must not have gotten a proper meal.
Oh no, did I not?
Sit. Sit! I'd situate us in the dining hall, but it is a mess right now.
Her concern is sweet, as is her smile. But I'm really not here for idle chit-chat, something I keep forgetting. We're both distracted when the food arrives, and it's enough for me to stay, at least until the meal is over. No more, no less, just to be polite. Thankfully, the conversation steers into a topic I'm comfortable with, work. This goes on for a bit, and I can't be more relieved. Most people don't understand calling me a workaholic, but I chose to work in a field I'm enthusiastic about. So what if my career is also my hobby?
But no, really, how have you liked it so far?
Oh, it has been wonderful, believe me. Everything is going smoothly too. It has been a long time since I've worked on something on this grand a scale. Nowadays, everyone is about condos and flats. Living in the city where every room is an identical box. Believe me, this is very refreshing.
We lived in a condo before this, Marianne.
I didn't mean any insult.
It's fine, sweetie. Look at you, all frazzled. I was just pulling your leg. Luke wanted that penthouse when we got married, and you can thank him for purchasing this place as well.
Wait, doesn't she own the house? I'm pretty sure. I have no business with it, though. It's theirs to hash out. But apparently, the momentary confusion had been visible on my face.
Don't be fooled. I'm just the treasury. I wouldn't be able to make a purchase this grand without his seal of approval.
I think
I see.
Oh, I heard
That's
that before,
it.
but
That's all you have to say.
yes, what else is there to it? Without warning, this nice friendly chat has devolved into something horrible. Something sad.
But I really don't know what to say, Mrs. Wright. We were talking of no topic in particular, and
Luke. We were talking about Luke.
about him not eating breakfast with you.
About him treating...
Oh, yeah, this is choices I made during Hannah's route. Made her turn into a crazy brat who just complained and whined. They may have all the money in the world where material things aren't a problem, but they don't even see what they become, where they've ended up, or what they've done most of the time. They're shut in by their own trap, forced to play along with society's expectations and do anything to stay where they are and to keep what they have. A world where even people feel or treated like they are mere possessions. When someone is at the top, the only way for them to go is down. I've worked with many Hannahs and Lukes and Whiskeys, but I've never been one of them. I don't pretend to understand the world any deeper than that. I merely know what I've witnessed before. I will never pretend that I'll fully understand what they're going
You
through.
know, I can make life very difficult for you if you speak a word of this.
Yep, and that's where we threatened her.
I won't speak a word, Mrs. Wright.
But I understand a threat when I hear one.
Won't you? How would I know? What guarantee do I have?
It's in the contracts, confidential, blah blah blah. Though I work for them, that doesn't mean I belong to them. I'm not the sort who gives my mind, body, or soul to get rich. Only my hard work would be equivalent to that. And I sure as well would be damned if I just bow down to intimidation tactics of the spoiled princesses. Fortunately for her,
It's
I'm
in
on
the
duty.
contract.
She doesn't look tense, and I hope that the same can be said of me. But the tension is so thick and palpable in there, it's only a matter of time before one of us wavers. The door to the parlor opens, cutting through the silence in the air like a knife.
Madam, the photographer from Luxury Living is here.
Looks like Zach is here. Even then, we're both rooted to the spot. Until she gives him first and looks away with a huff.
If you dare tell anyone about what you just heard, well, I'll make sure you regret it, Annie darling. Now, if you can excuse me.
I remain stoic even as she leaves before making an exit myself sooner after. Soon enough, I find myself drawn to the kitchen where the Wright butler has returned to. He's already claimed the space and telling movers to back off, and none dares to question his proclamation either.
My kitchen. No kinder allowed. Little men running around with knives especially. We do not want any accidents to happen now, do we? Good?
I mean, is it a knife-wielding German standing there? I don't think anybody would be insane enough to refuse his request.
I hope I meet the age restriction, or at least the height restriction, because I'm asking to be let in here.
You are allowed inside, McCulloch, but not
Yes.
the little ones.
Isabella, we killed her off. We killed Isabella off. Then we got Hannah possessed. And then we killed Zach off with the possessed Hannah in the prison cell. So, yeah. Hannah will be possessed soon. Zach will be dead soon, and Isabella probably... What day is this? The 26th? Yeah, she's already dead. A shake of my head and the roll of my eyes is all I give him. It's not like I'm going to be in any trouble to him. I just need to look around to get my bearings. The breakfast had been a distraction enough. I don't even want to think about what we just talked about. I just need to get my head straight and get back to work. The movers work efficiently even when they're left alone, and they do quick work of their responsibilities. Their head foreman comes standing in the hall in the doorway to consult me on this or that, and I have to go help out every now and then. But they pretty much have everything up to standards. They skip lunch entirely, not even realizing when they do so. Nevertheless, all is well, as the butler gets to heating up the leftover bubble and squeak for breakfast, and makes a generous batch of fish and chips for them. Most likely simple in comparison to what he serves to the Wrights, but well done nonetheless.
That smells good. Want to wrap up some for me to go?
It's an idle observation more than anything. My thoughts, as they are, preoccupy me.
If there are any left, one can't go wrong with fish and chips. Everyone loves them. Even my husband. And he's American.
I think I saw this. Yeah, skipping past. And I asked if he's alright.
You're not gonna go out there and join Mrs. Wright?
Tried to lighten the mood.
You're starting to look strange.
What is it that you want to do then?
Boom.
Documentaries mostly, but cinematography is a lot more difficult than photography, right? I was working on the thing, actually.
We need to get you away from the butler. You're starting to sound like him. No, I'm not joining Hana for an interior design magazine photo. What am I, a piece of furniture? Look, did a lot of you have anything else crucial to do today? Marianne.
There are still some little things to do. It isn't the end of the day yet.
Yes, but you're paid hourly, aren't you? Per day? Really, I don't care. You and the others can just take off for the day.
Why is he dismissing us early all of a sudden? Is this about the possible security threat? Did my question get him all worried and paranoid that he would just send the workers and I away? I realize that threats are of actual concern to these rich and powerful people. I imagine, whether anyone wants to or not, they get a few enemies here and there. But I'm sure the foreman and his works can be trusted and are no threat. Well, at least I trust the people I'm working with. I understand if he doesn't know them from a can of paint. Still, won't it be safer if there are people around who can watch their back?
You're the boss. My being paid by the day aside, I won't be held responsible for any significant delay caused by your decisions. I'll try to get around that, of course, but I'll just remind you of the fact.
Whatever, take forever with the house. I don't give a bloody damn. Don't you worry, you're still getting your money. Just sod off, go crawl around a pub and find yourself a good lay.
Paranoid or aggravated as he might be, this conversation certainly didn't have to warrant that sort of remark.
Maybe I will.
You tell him. Walking out of the kitchen, I just accept the fact that whatever he says will go under the roof. Mrs. Wright and the photographer are still far too busy in conversation to notice me, even as I make my way through the dining hall. And it looks like people are saying my mic is a little low, so I'm gonna go turn down the desktop audio. And now you can turn up the volume of the game. Alright. Besides, I didn't want to ruin their fun.
Well, it wasn't really a big thing.
You can turn up your Twitch volume, I mean.
People didn't like Blue Fonzie very much.
People don't like a film about colors. I suppose they would have liked Blue Bibby a lot more.
Going to the foyer has me stumble upon the family butler once more, who raises a brow at my presence.
And where are you off to in a hurry, Miss McCulloch? The foreman is looking for you.
The Bratwurst wants us off the clock. He's dismissing us early because of... Oh, I don't know. He just wants us out of here.
I'll go and call a cab for you then. It would be for the best that you leave when he asks you to.
I don't doubt it. My ride back to the city doesn't take too long to get here. To keep her mind off things that haunted her, Marianne McCullough focused on assisting the Wrights during their move-in. Later that afternoon, she was seen chatting with Luke Wright, who then demanded she and the rest of the crew take an early leave. Granted, there were some difficulties at first because the driver didn't know where the Ermengarde mansion is. He tried to have his hand over GPS coordinates from our smartphones or some other techno-babble that I didn't care about, and the butler didn't understand. But as soon as we told him that it's the haunted mansion over in Anslem Village, he knew the place. And finally headed over, albeit with some hesitation. All the way back to the city, the driver keeps complaining about that place giving him the willies. It gives me the willies too. I would have loved to snap at him. But as soon as the thought occurs to me, another blossoms in the forefront of my mind. One that has somehow bothered me greatly, more than my exasperation over whiskey in this project or wanting all of it to stop. There has been no Lorraine whispering over my ears today. Worse, I find myself searching for it. Searching for her. Damn New Earthy. Loose ends. Bloody fucking loose ends everywhere. I thought I'd already moved past this years ago, and it does nothing to help me curb my frustration. If anything, it only ensures that I want a stiff drink. And where else do I go to drink? Tuesdays are for karaoke, and Wednesdays, improv. Usually it's these four guys who did hilarious games. The one with Irish drinking songs are usually always a crowd favorite. I can skip through this.
I take it the investigation isn't going well.
When does it ever?
Asian Joe, that's Ash.
But that's not the problem, though. It's...
There's the sound of a mug being slammed down on the counter. It manages to catch my attention for a split second before I zone out again.
Doesn't matter how I am or how my investigation is going, alright?
And this is a lot different from when I went through the game the last time, getting all the good endings, because now Ash is pissed off at the death of Isabella.
Don't take that tone with me, boy. You know I'm only concerned you're drinking too much as is, and I've never seen you drink before when you were here.
Not once. You've been sulking there for over an hour now, which is unusual in itself.
Because the girl he loved was murdered.
So tell me what's going on. Because I'm pretty sure alcohol don't have the answer you're looking for.
That's fine. Because all the answers I need are probably from you. Just give me what you know and I'll be out of your hair.
This about that torn-up girl on the news?
It doesn't matter. I'm here to talk business.
Their talk would have interested me, would have kept my attention if I gave a damn. But in my current state, I barely can give two fucks about the things going around me. All these words are just buzzing, barely surfacing from the sea of sounds that is the pub. And it would have stayed that way, perhaps even drowned, if I didn't hear his name.
Luke Wright. You know the guy. And don't pretend like you don't, G. It takes a special kind of ignorant not to know.
And I can skip through
How
this.
How dare that sleazy wanker treat me like I'm a piece of furniture?
She jumps in and goes on and on about Luke.
And by wanker, you mean Luke Wright.
Yes, Luke Wright. I just said that. He's Kultona Kranthe. Completely different from his pretty wife. And Annie? Hannah? Anna! I wouldn't be surprised if he's doing something dirty behind her back. Even bought him a mansion. Lucky bastard.
So it was the wife who bought the place.
Are you going to repeat everything I said? Yes, it was the pretty one. The one with the long hair. She bought the place. Sort of.
With how drunk you are, I don't even know if you're aware or sure of what you're saying.
Excuse you? I am at least 350,000% sure that I know what I am saying. I am a professional. I'm totally sure of what I'm saying. Do you think just because I'm drunk I don't remember facts? I remember everything. I remember every little thing as if it only happened yesterday. I bet you don't remember young McGurn's full name. Of course you don't. Here we go. John William, pure mad, mental inte, your body, Simpson Clay, Gimel Chip, the Bam, Rib Racker, no real young rebel, ya best Saint John McGurn.
What in the fuck?
See? I have a photographic memory. Or read memory. I don't remember which is which.
Back to the wanker. Nothing off about him or anything? Nothing shady that sets the alarm bells in your head?
Alarm bells, nothing ringing. Maybe someone's mobile is. I'm getting tired enough for me to press my cheek against the cold countertop without my eyes shut tight. Eventually cracking one eye open, just in case they thought I fell asleep again, I grin at Holmes.
Aside from being a sleazy piece of shit, he did get all in a tizzy whenever something about security came up.
Makes sense. I don't blame the guy. Place that big, you'll need a couple dozen people stationed around if you want to make sure nobody you don't want gets in. And the guy seems like the type that doesn't like too many people.
Oh, but he does like the ladies. I don't think his mommy hugged him enough or anything.
These are serious questions, Marianne. Lives might just be at stake here.
Yeah, we're gonna skip through that. That was annoying, and her nightmares again. October 28th, Friday.
Perhaps it has been the years, perhaps not. It might just be the little things that have built up all this time.
And it looks like we're almost at the ending here of Marianne's route.
But in any case, with things like these, I've seen couples take time apart just to cool off. Sometimes they get back together in the end with lighter hearts, and sometimes they don't get back together at all, but part on better terms.
What if I said the couple are very public figures? They wouldn't want to take time apart unless it was really necessary. They wouldn't want people to talk.
Well, that's a load of guff. Not to mention that makes them a bit thick, doesn't it? Forget about what other people say. That's their relationship and they should do what's best for them.
Why she thinks a single woman like me would be the best source of relationship advice is beyond me. Still, I talk and answer to the best of my abilities. Without realizing it, I'm already pouring out a part of me that I thought were long gone. I'd like to believe my words will be of some help to Mrs. Wright. If I'm honest, though, they are of some help to me, like some weight has been taken off my shoulders. Lorraine.
I really should handle what's left of the work.
You won't be attending the party? Oh, you really must, Marianne.
The weight of what happened to her hasn't left me yet, did it? Maybe.
I'll try to stay in chat. Maybe grab a few bites and a drink, but I can't be around for the entirety of the event. My apologies. Busy.
You must stay a while. I'd love for you to meet some of my friends, and they're ever so excited to meet you. You need to say hello to the Lees, at least. If it wasn't for them, I'd never even heard of you.
Maybe it's about time I changed
We'll
that.
see. So, if I can be excused?
Certainly. You'll have to excuse me as well. I must attend to the party before any early birds arrive, because, believe me, they will throw a fuss if things aren't ready, even...
Though I shouldn't dwell on the dead, I shouldn't just callously forget about them too. Saying that I have work to do is easy enough excuse to make. I know how other people see me. They see someone so obsessed with her craft that she would so easily miss things like a party for it. Outside the parlor, people hurry about here and there in preparation for the Wright's grand housewarming party. None spare me a glance as I slip past them, each working in their appointed roles and not daring to slack off while they work for what is probably the most powerful couple in Luxborn.
Please,
And
it's really important.
she needs to go down in the cellar, although I don't recall her having gone down in the cellar this time around.
15 minutes. 9. 10 minutes. Any longer and I'll pull you out of there myself.
So I'm not too sure how she knows about the cellar.
The Bratwurst will be furious if he thinks anyone is touching his precious find without his permission.
Thank you. This seriously means a lot.
He steps aside begrudgingly. At this point, it looks like there's no turning back. The cellar greets me ominously as I descend. Can we skip past any of this? The meal that had been moved from the study is my goal. Oh, she wants to go down and see the mirror, because last time, or this go around, she saw the mirror and she saw Lorraine in the mirror. She wants to see Lorraine again. I did not return to it after my initial discovery, but the thought of Lorraine, how much I want to see her again, even it's just for one more time, keeps coming back to mind. As I walk through the cellar, I have to stop when I feel something crunch beneath my feet. Whatever few bottles were left behind here are now nothing but glass under my heels. Perhaps dropped by one of the many chefs and bartenders the butler has escorted through here before. And it made a downright mess, with thick, red slick pulling from the remnants of a good drink. With how dark this place is, a person with dark enough imagination can easily mistake it for blood. I can't help but think it is, despite the easy logical explanation that had come to my mind only because of what I'm about to do. It's merely a momentary distraction as I continue to the end of the cellar where the mirror stands. Propped up against the far wall, it gleams innocently while pretending to be simple and ordinary mirror. How morbid to think this thing can show a person their deepest, most desperate desires, then twists it to an image so dark. That's what I had seen that day. Though I heard Lorraine many times, I'd only seen her here within its frame. I wonder if people had discovered it before. How many were wasted away in front of it, enamored, and how many were frightened away by what they saw? Again, just gonna point out that, Marianne, you're not on the right track. It's not the mirror that's anything special with it. It's Mrs. Spooks. She reads people and takes their fears and their history and what they want to see, and she turns into it. Yet as I stand before her now, nothing. I can barely see my own reflection in this darkness.
How does this even work? Mirror, mirror on the wall? Something? Anything?
Nothing. Touching its surface doesn't make it magically activate or anything like that. There is no sudden surge of power, and I'm not suddenly granted sight. It stays what it is, a mirror. Was Lorraine's appearance in the mirror all sort of a fever dream? Am I really that burned with guilt and despair that my mind would eat itself in my stress and have me hallucinate such things? Either way, just going here on some crazy obsession for a girl long lost, gone, must warrant me a trip to the doctor. Already I feel ill. After a few more minutes, in the hopes that something would change, I turn around to leave. I can just go back upstairs like nothing ever happened, perhaps drop by the party for some hors d'oeuvres, then go home and collect myself, except you're going to turn around and see her. Besides, Mrs. Wright expecting me, and
Going to leave me again then, are you?
Yep, you see her. Stop in my tracks, but don't turn back. As much as it pains me, I don't look back. If I'm just hearing her again, desperately delusional, and I look back to see nothing, I don't want to give myself false hope. But when I feel fingers around my wrist pull at me, I look back in shock. My first thought is, how in God's name is this possible? And the second is, Lorraine. Her hands are cold.
Are you that mad at me that you're just going to ignore me, Marianne?
I don't know what to say, and I can only stare at her and wonder. She stares in the mirror with only her arm extended outward for my gaze, for my sake. And this is just really, really sad. I look at the hand still holding my wrist, and when she sees me looking at it, she moves it so that our hands are intertwined, fingers weaved together. Seeing her there and feeling her touch meant I'm not crazy, though however impossible and unexplainable this is all to me right now. It just takes my breath away. Pulling her out from there is tempting. I can imagine doing so with ease. We can be together again, Lorraine and Marianne, like nothing had ever happened. But that would all be a great big lie,
What?
wouldn't it?
Tack out your tongue. Don't just look at me like that. Say something.
And this is all stemmed from checking out the ground floor versus the first floor. I checked out the, see, I'm on the, this path now. The B path, this is the A path up here. Ending 1A, ending 2A. This is ending 1, or ending 2B, rather. Ending 1B, ending 2B. And this one was when I checked out the ground floor. This is the one where I checked out the first floor. And checking out the first floor really gave a lot more background for Lorraine. I didn't get all that in the other one. Even if this thing were some magical portal that could bring back the dead, that doesn't erase anything. Just looking at her, still a young teenager, while I'm already a grown woman, it serves no other reason than to break the illusion that binds me. I've seen her twice now, always behind the mirror. If this is real, if this isn't some delusion, then why can't she only exist behind the glass?
You have no idea how happy I am to see you. It's been so long.
You don't look happy.
I really am happy, but at the same time, I can't help but think about what happened to you.
And what does that mean? What are you saying?
She gives me this peculiar look, and before my eyes she moves a step out of the mirror. In turn, I wrench my hand from her and take a step back, almost as I'm afraid.
I don't know how this is possible, but whatever this is, it isn't real. You can't be real.
A quick 360, or my bad, a quick 180 from what you were saying before, Marianne, when you were saying you really wanted to see her, and now that you've seen her, you don't want to see her anymore.
I'm right here, aren't I? What other proof do you need?
No, I see you. I hear you. I feel you. But even with all that, you can't be real. You just can't. I saw your body. I helped bury you. You're dead.
A deep hurt crosses her face, and it just breaks my heart in two seeing her wear that expression.
Burying me wasn't the only thing you did. Don't you dare lie. But I'm going to be the bigger woman, aren't I? Let bygones be bygones. I'll forgive you. As long as you stay with me, Marianne. That's why you came down here, right? To find me?
That was the plan. I came down here looking for her for closure, and this is all a trap. But this isn't closure, this is something else entirely. I didn't think I would be forced to make such a choice. Do I leave or do I stay? Just look at her smile, her smirk. Alright, I'm gonna kill her. Goodbye, Marianne. I really do want to stay with her. I'm getting tired of pretending, of lying to myself. And the fact that I'm admitting this to myself now of all times only brings to light how Lorraine was right about me all along. I should have listened to her.
But, Lorraine, you're dead. How can we even stay together?
I know. And it's your fault, isn't it? You tore us apart, but now you can put us back together again.
And now that I have the choice to fix what I'd done to us, then who am I to do otherwise?
I'm so sorry. I must look like a right mess.
I'm here, Em. I'm here now, don't you worry. Come here.
It takes everything I have not to tear up at the sight of her. She reaches out and slips her fingers through mine before pulling me away from the tunnel towards the mirror. Our reflection, a grown woman and a teenager barely past her prime, lends a bizarre light to this whole scene.
I can't imagine how you've been so alone all these years. I left you, Lorraine. I didn't mean to, but that's what I did.
She's not Lorraine, and she's tricking you, and you're going to die.
I don't even know if you can ever forgive me.
Don't cry. Doesn't suit your pretty face. Besides, I don't have to be alone anymore, do I? You're here for me, aren't you? You'll never leave me again, will you?
My mouth goes dry as she looks at me. That isn't the plan. This isn't closure. Yet in your hand in mine makes me believe that this is real. She's real, and that's all that matters, nothing else.
Of course. I wouldn't dare leave you.
You swear you won't leave me?
I swear to God, I won't, Lorraine.
Though her smile remains, I can only describe her expression as sad. She walks around until she stands just behind me and wraps her arms around my waist. I nearly crumble with how I am in her arms once more. And when she puts her chin in the crook of my neck and I feel her hot breath on my neck, I'm filled with both joy and grief. The scent of chocolate, almonds, and honey and beer has surrounded me, my first taste of love, the love that I denied. It had been so bittersweet.
God's not the only one you're making promises to, Marianne. Swear it to me. Or, even better, prove it to me.
I'll stay forever with you, Lorraine. I swear it to you. How do I even prove it to you?
Simple.
She presses something in my hand. A large glass shard from a wine bottle, cold and sharp.
Join me.
Is she suggesting that
Die for me.
Lorraine! That's... How can I?
How can I even do such
There's
a thing?
no need to be scared. I'll be here for you until the end, Marianne. Even if you hadn't done the same for me. But that's the only way I can forgive you. The only way we can be together again.
She guides my hand, raising the glass shard. My own hands are weak, as is my will, and I can only bare my neck to do it with as she wishes. There is no reason, no self-preservation, as I mindlessly welcome my own death, as if it will lead me to my own salvation. I feel nothing at first, other than the glass touching my skin like a caress, till a stinging sensation blooms from my neck. The pain sears and burns like nothing I've ever felt before, and every breath intensifies the feeling. Even if I wanted to cry out and scream, I can only cough as a slick metallic taste coats my tongue. The most I can do beyond that is rasp out, calling for her name. Cold and weak, I grow worse by the second. I cough with each ragged breath, expelling the blood that I'm inhaling through my slit throat.
Shush now. It'll be over soon.
Hey, 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 hey.
Really soon.
There is a moment of doubt, as I remember that devil that was once the most beautiful angel in heaven. That I shouldn't be deceived by such beauty. But you were. Because she is not Lorraine at all. But in my final moments, all of that is soon forgotten. My mouth twitches, I can't muster even the smallest of smiles anymore. I'll be with Lorraine. And that was Lorraine's death. And we got a memory fragment.